Vinyl community, what's up? It's Tone Scott, and I am back for yet another video, my third one, and I just wanted to knock a few out that I had plans to do, and yeah, I did my first one maybe 4 or 5 days ago, and so what I wanted to do is something I promised, or that I said I was going to do in my last video, and that was to show some of the acquisitions from last year. Something sort of like what Diana at Digging in the Crate, the contest that she had recently, but of course I'm not participating in that because the contest is over, but yeah, I just wanted to show you guys some of the records from last year. I'm going to have to speed through it because, again, I only have 15 minutes. YouTube's limiting me because of my subscription base is not 100 yet, so once it gets to 100, I can make longer videos. And so I feel kind of bad because I want to be more descriptive and share what's in these records with you guys. But, you know, at least I can show them and briefly talk about them really quickly. So, real quick before I do that, listening right now to Jazzmatazz by Guru, Gangstar Guru. Yeah. Man, when this album came out in the early 90s, I was a teenager, I think 93 or something like that. And this was a breakthrough album, not only just in hip hop but in jazz. And I mean, it's great. There's some players on here. Roy Ayers is on here. Donald Byrd, Lonnie Liston Smith. My gosh, just a great album. And it's not samples. I mean, they're playing on this record, and that was really never done before. This was a breakthrough record. I was listening to jazz anyway because of my dad, but because of that album, that hip-hop album pushed me into wanting to delve into jazz more. It was just a phenomenal record. You guys who know that, you know just how good it is. So really quickly, one more thing that is music related. This book, I like music books. I'm not big on autobiographies or biographies. I do like them, but I like things that deal more with collecting. And so this is a book called Rock Covers, and it's not just a bunch of album covers, but what this is it's a book that is a collection of some of the most renowned and revered album art throughout recorded music history, and it couples basically with a huge section of the book that is stories on the actual artists that were responsible for all of that art. So great book if you get a chance. Rock Covers. It's a pretty thick book. Spin it around real quick. Yeah, great book. That was a Christmas gift from the amazing Amaris Mari Marsbar. Thank you, baby. Okay, just a couple CDs really quickly. Jazz Side of the Moon. Jazz Side of the Moon is basically an album with some selections from the Dark Side of the Moon album by a band put together by modern jazz guitarist Mike Moreno and Sam Yahel on B3, Ari Honig on drums, and Seamus Blake on tenor sax. I don't know if that would make any sense to you guys, but Mike Moreno is a great modern jazz guitarist. And what this is it's not just instrumental versions of some songs off of Dark Side of the Moon. What this is the songs that they've chosen, it's their own interpolation. It's not just straight covers. It's their own eclectic interpolation of those songs. And it is a phenomenal album. Jazz Side of the Moon, the music of Pink Floyd. Because of that album, I delve more into Mike Moreno. And Mike, this is his current release. I think this is on vinyl too. I know the Jazz Side of the Moon is only on compact disc, but Mike Moreno, Lotus. This is a great album. Just a phenomenal album. So if you ever want to, check out Mike Moreno, the Jazz Side of the Moon thing is a good place to start, and then you might want to pick up Lotus too. Okay, last on the CDs, really quickly. This is The Animal House. I've never heard anyone talk about The Animal House. This is called Ready to Receive. It's a Japanese pressing. I don't have the vinyl. I just have the compact disc. And what I like about this particular album is, and this band, is with this album alone, at least with this album, because this is the only one I have, but this has a very George Martin-ish, Beatlesque psychedelic sort of later Beatles undertone to the production. It's not predominant whatsoever. It's super slight. So if you took that, and then if you took the band Jet, and you took the band Muse, and Jet and Muse had a baby with that George Martin-ish sort of undertone in production, that's what you have. That's the best way I can describe it. Anybody who is familiar with that record, let me know if that's how you hear it, because that's how I hear it, and it's a great record. Okay, real quick, I gotta speed through these. Things I got last year. I actually already had this record. I don't know what happened to it. I honestly do not know. If I traded it, if it was stolen, I don't know. But this is Herbie Mann's Californians. Some people don't like Herbie Mann, some people do. Herbie Mann is a phenomenal artist. This is early Herbie Mann. No flute, but clarinet. And it's great. People have a problem with the clarinet. They start assimilating it with, big band stuff. And I know big band is an acquired taste, but it's really not that. It's early 60s mainstream jazz, and on Riverside reissue, Japanese pressing on that. And it's a great record. I'm sorry, it's called Great Ideas of Western Man. Sergio Mendes Trio Within the Brazilian Bag. And this is probably as avant-garde and eclectic as you'll hear Sergio get. It's a really good record. This is an original on Tower. I'll show you that. Where's it at? There it is. Right there. And this is a great album. I picked it up this past year. Phenomenal. Excellent pressing. The Swigs, modern hard rock band trio out of Arizona. And if anyone knows about this, Ron at the Hog's Ear Report, I'm sure he would know about this band. But this is the only album that they have on vinyl. Everything else is on compact disc, and I think they only have 2 full-length CDs or 2 full-length albums. I have the CD. I didn't pull it to show you. I forget what the title of the album is. But this is called Johnson Family Values by the Swigs. I saw Scott Waters show this, and I had to grab it really quickly because I believe it is out of print. This is Early Rituals, Black Sabbath. Just some outtakes and some early versions of some of their more popular songs like NIB, Black Sabbath, Early Morning Blues, blah, 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 blah. Excellent record. It is out of print, and I remember when Scott showed it, he said try to grab one quick because there's not a lot left. And I was able to find a dealer, I think in Belgium or the Netherlands, but I grabbed one. Great record. Society of Seven. This is a 70s based R&B soul band, what would be subgenred as Hawaiian soul. Great album. It's a Society of Seven, and it's called Fashionably Yours. And very, in some aspects, very Stevie Wonder-ish. But just a great album. Society of Seven. I picked this album to start with. They have other great albums. I learned about them through a documentary. So if you want to check them out, Society of Seven, you won't be sorry with that. One Alternative, the album is Twilight. This is the new album by One Alternative. And this is Mark Openlander's trio, jazz trio. And Mark is a VC member as well. One Alternative has, I think, 8 or 9 albums, and they've been recording since the 80s. So this is a great record too. And Mark signed it for me. I feel special. God, I've got a lot of Rahsaan Roland Kirk. I didn't have this until this past year, and because Teddy at Eat Sleep Vinyl showed this, and I said, man, I don't have that. And he played some of it, and I was just blown away. I mean, I've always been blown away by Roland Kirk, but man, this is a great record. This is called Prepare Thyself to Deal with a Miracle. And I think he's just an underrated artist. Avishai Cohen, he is an Israeli trumpeter, jazz trumpeter. And this is his second or third offering on ECM. And this was a 2017 release. I actually was able to see him here in Los Angeles, downtown at a jazz club called the Blue Whale. And he is phenomenal. And so before I even went to see him, I picked up this record. I learned about him through a friend of mine. Avishai Cohen, the album is Cross My Palm with Silver. Madison Ward and the Mama Bear Skeleton Crew. And these guys, I learned about them a couple years ago, but I picked this up last year finally. An American down south acoustic-y soul duo of a mother and a son. It's a mother-son duo, just incredible. Madison Ward and the Mama Bear Skeleton Crew. The only compilation I have from this past year, Late Night Tales, Bad, Bad, Not Good. Late Night Tales is a series that the label allows various recording acts or artists to put together their own compilation. And this one was put together by the Canadian quartet, Bad, Bad, Not Good. And it has Boards of Canada, Rahsaan and Carlos, Delegation, the Beach Boys, Thundercat. It's pretty eclectic compilation, but it's really good. This was VC from my buddy Paul, Baraka P. Dub. This is limited to 200 copies worldwide. It has not been reissued or repressed. This was a 2016 Record Store Day release. This is a math rock band out of Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur. They're called Darica Hi, and the album is called Commemorate. Phenomenal math rock band. I was able to find one copy floating around in the world at a dealer in Singapore. You have to excuse me. The beeping is a truck backing up outside, somewhere outside. I don't know what it is. Anyway, yeah, great. Limited to 200 copies, and I got one. I'm sure they'll reissue it sometime, but as of now, there's no reissues or represses. Jaco Pastorius, Truth, Liberty, and Soul, 2017 Record Store Day release, and this was a pain in the ass to get. This is Jaco Pastorius' last live performance before his death, recorded in New York in the early 80s, and this was released by Resonance Records. Resonance is I'm going to be doing a video on Resonance. I have quite a few releases on Resonance, and they're not just a jazz reissue label. In fact, they're not a jazz reissue label really at all. They do have a few original pressings, but what they are is they find lost jazz recordings that have never been released, and they do deals to release them. So this was a deal that took about 2 or 3 years between Resonance and the estate of Jaco Pastorius, and they finally came to a deal, and they released it this past year. And it was like pulling teeth to get this thing, but I got it. So great album. 3 album box set, or a 3 disc box set, I should say. Last but not least, really quickly, a little bit of a disappointment for me. I love Vanessa Fernandez. Her first album, titled Use Me, way better, which was a soul record. Her covers of like Marvin Gaye and Al Cooper and Bill Withers and things like that, phenomenal. There was so much hype around her second album, which is called When the Levee Breaks. 3 LP set, and When the Levee Breaks is her interpolations of all Led Zeppelin songs. It was mastered by Bernie Grundman. There was so much hype around this record before it came out, and I was just expecting so much more because her first one was just unbelievable. And when I listen to it, I like it a lot, but I'm not crazy about it. So, When the Levee Breaks, Vanessa Fernandez. That's it, guys. Thank you so much. I hope I made the time. We'll know if you're watching this video. I plan to do one sometime in the near future again. And so just, hey, God bless you guys. Thanks for watching. And I'll talk to you soon. Thanks. Peace.